everyone? This is Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for a 2500 point battle. Me, Lord Tremendous from the Warriors of Chaos versus War Boss Wogtacular of the Orcs and Goblins. This is an well, I shouldn't say old. This is a known opponent for me. The Orcs and Goblins list that he's playing, I actually sold him these models going on a year now. Well, 6 months, 8 months, something like that. And it's always kind of fun to see it across the table from me because it's kind of nostalgic, and at the same time, he plays them pretty well. And it's always a blast to play Orcs and Goblins, let's face it. My list is my Alamo GT list. It's not going to change probably until November because I've submitted it now, and unless they say it's a no-go, this is what I got to play until I get to the GT, so yay! I've got my Demon Prince, Lord Tremendous, Mark Tzeentch, level 4 Wizard, Chaos Armor with Wings, Charm Shield, Dragonbane Gem, Other Trickster Shard, Demon Blade, Soul Feeder, Scaled Skin, and the Lore Metal. My heroes consist of my Exalted Hero, Tardum, the Herald of Tzeentch. He's Mark Tzeentch, he's my BSB. He's on a demonic mount that's barded. He's got a great weapon, Talisman of Preservation, Poisonous Slime, and the Third Eye of Tzeentch. Last but not least is my Chaos Sorcerer, Ashicus the Muse. He's Mark Slaanesh. He's a level 2 wizard. He's on a Steed of Slaanesh, the Slickness. He's got an Enchanted Shield, the Skull of Catan, a Luckstone, the Ruby Ring of Ruin, and he uses the Lore of Slaanesh because it kills people. Yep, that's right. My core choices are same. 24 by Chaos Warriors, Mark Tzeentch, Full Command, Hand Weapon Shield, and the Banner of Eternal Flame. I've got 5 Marauder Horsemen with the Mark of Slaanesh, Spears, Shields, Throwing Axes, and a Banner Musician combo because having a unit champion here just doesn't make any sense. I've got 2 Chariots, 1 Mark Tzeentch, and 1 Mark Slaanesh, and of course my Slaanesh one is Orcish Elegance, the Wet Hot Mess from Down Under. And my special choices: 5 Hellstriders, the Pleasure Riders, with Banner Musician, Spears, and Shields, my Chimera, with Poison and Regen, and of course my rare choice, the Mutalith Vortex. My opponent's list was from memory. I did not get a list from him. I have no idea for the most part. He's got a Savage Orc Warboss as his lord. No idea what this guy had on. I think he might have had a weapon and some armor on. Other than that, I have no friggin' idea what he had. He had a Savage Orc Great Shaman. It was a level 4 wizard. Had the Lucky Shrunken Head. I think the Talisman of Preservation. And the Lore of the Big Wog is what he used, and that's pretty obvious. He had a Night Goblin Shaman, who was a level 2 wizard with a Dispel Scroll and a Lore of the Little Wog. And he had a Savage Orc Big Boss. It was his BSB, and I think maybe the Armor of Destiny. Not 100% on that. I have really no idea what his kit outs were. He had a unit of 30 Night Goblins with Full Command, Hand Weapon Shield, and they had 3 Fanatics inside. He had a identical 30 by Night Goblins with Full Command, Hand Weapon Shield, and 3 Fanatics. He had a big old Horde Brick 36 Savage Orc Biggins with Full Command and extra hand weapons. And he had a unit of 6 River Trolls. And they smelled awful. He had 1 large Arachnarok Spider, and they scared the hell out of me because I'm arachnophobic to the nth degree. So I always love seeing those on the table, even when I used to field it. He had a unit of 10 by Orc Boar Boys with Spears and Shields, Full Command, and I think maybe it was either the Banner of Eternal Flame or the Banner of Swiftness. I cannot remember which. He also had a Goblin Chariot with an extra wolf on him. And, of course, the obligatory Goblin Doom Diver, because they're probably the best damn war machine in the game. My opinion, of course, everyone calm down. These were my spells: 4 from Metal, 2 from Slaanesh, 1 from Fireball, and 1 from Mutalith, but of course I don't have a card for that yet. I should get a card for it. These were his spells: 4 from the Big Wog, 2 from the Little Wog, and the extra cards are just like the little extra lore attribute or whatever, and they just have cool designs on them, so we showed them. Here's deployment. As you can see, I've got a Greenskin Infestation. No subtlety required. We're going to charge across the table and beat the ever-loving tar out of each other. Here's his right flank. That contraption over there is his Goblin Chariot. And those little guys right next to him, over to our right there, are these first unit of goblins with hand weapon shield, full command, and of course the little fanatics that aren't shown yet. This wet mess right here, starting at the left, are his 6 river trolls. The big unit right in the middle there are his savage orc horde with full command. He's got 3 characters, the BSB and both savage orcs, the warboss and the shaman in this unit, obviously. Behind them is his goblin doom diver, and to the right there are his second unit of 30 by night goblins with full command, and his level 2 night goblin shaman sits in that unit. And his left flank consists of his 10 by orc boar boys with full command and the Arachnarok Spider of Doom. Over here on my right flank, I have Trifiction! And right next to him is my Hellstriders with Ashicus, and they were just going to try to harass the spider a little bit. And right next to them, kind of on the right there, is obviously my Demon Prince, Lord Tremendous. That's right, bow down before Tremendous. Here's my center. On the right there is my Tzeentch Chariot, regular chariot, not a gore beast. My 24 by warriors, my Orcish Elegance Slaanesh Chariot. My BSB, right in front of him, or right next to him anyway, is the Mutilate Vortex. And right in front of them is the dog, just kind of running interference. And of course, my left flank are my Marauder Horsemen, which I'm still trying to figure out how the heck to use these guys. So, in this one, they are going to be Fanatic Springers. So, it's top of 1, and thank God I finally got to go first. I've had one heck of a run lately where I've been going in the bottom of the rounds, and it's just uncomfortable. I like to be on top. As you can see, everything just kind of moves up. My Marauders dive into the forest to release the Fanatics, and I put them through the forest because, although, as you can see, I lost one because these trees are coming out of effing nowhere, I was worried that I figured if I'm in the forest, the Fanatic hits the forest, it dies before it touches me, forcing him to send the Fanatics elsewhere, which he did. My Demon Prince fired up towards the other goblins because, number 1, I'm not afraid of anything in his list, and if his... If his Savage Orcs charge my Demon Prince, he should be able to weather that. I'd probably issue a challenge and send his BSB to the back, just in case I won this combat. And he should be able to weather those attacks. I was hoping he would be able to weather the attacks. And then my Chariots and my Warriors would be able to overrun, or be able to charge next turn. And even if his Savage Orcs did beat my Demon Prince, they're frenzy, they have to overrun, and everything in its brother is going to charge into that unit and destroy him. So it was a gamble, and you have to bet big to win big, and when the Fanatics released, my Demon Prince took a bunch of wounds. So, you know, I'll show you later how it worked out. But yeah, everything just kind of swarms forward, conservatively, of course, and once the Fanatics are out, it really just kind of comes down to what's he going to do. Here's a picture of his Fanatics being released over here, and the Marauder slamming his head into a tree, because, yeah, trees are apparently impossible to see. Over here, there's my Demon Prince. 2 of the little Fanatic guys slammed through him. One of them stopped right in front of him. So my Demon Prince ended up taking 2 wounds. My Charm Shield failed to stop anything. I rolled a 1. Not that it really would have mattered, but yeah. 2d6 strength 5 hits, and he gets 2 wounds put through him. So I was starting to second guess my my choice there. During the magic phase, I get Hysterical Frenzy off on the Boar Boys. The idea was to get them to charge my Demon Prince. If they charge, they land right on top of the Fanatic, taking 2d6 strength 5, armor-piercing hits, hopefully vaping most of the unit. My Demon Prince finishes them off, and then maybe either overruns into the goblins or whatever. But I figured with 2 wounds on me, I'm going to try to kill as many goblins as I can to soul feeder my wounds back up. Here's bottom of 1 after movement, and as you can see, the army really didn't fall for any of my tactics at all. Both of his frenzied units passed their frenzy checks, no problem. He doesn't animosity anywhere. And no, that's not true. I think his Savage Orcs actually did animosity, and they just ended up squabbling. His Spider charges the flank of my Demon Prince, and after he does that and we move the Fanatics, 2 Fanatics go through... Well, no, one rolls doubles and kills himself. The other one runs through me, the Spider, and it hits the forest. So yeah, that was interesting. And for the most part, the fanatics either killed themselves or ran into the forest. There was no other charges other than that. And yeah, that's pretty much how it looks. There's a close-up of the aftermath of this charge. A spider hits my demon prince in the flank. The fanatic bounces through me and the spider and hits the forest and dies. He rolls one hit on my demon prince, which doesn't wound, but he rolls like 6 on his spider and 4 go through. So his spider is half dead before any blows are struck. So yeah, not his fault, of course. Charging spider into the half dead demon prince wasn't a terrible choice, but it was a little unfortunate that this fanatic didn't know what the plan was. So thank you, Mr. Fanatic. I appreciate the help. Because we went in the combat, and since I strike before the spider, I was able to do the last 4 wounds to him no problem with the demon blade. And while I didn't, what's it called, soul feeder any wounds back, I did kill a spider. And the frenzied unit of Boroboys didn't care, but the goblins that should have cared rolled snake eyes for their panic check and just decided to accept it. I thought it was kind of funny. We all did. We laughed. So here's top 2 after movement, and as you can see, I'm not one for subtlety. My Chimera charged the Boroboys, my Demon Prince charged the Goblins because he needed Soul Feeder some wounds up. And yeah, other than that, my Marauders moved out of the forest, losing another one to an effing tree, and just to get in the way of the chariot because I didn't want to get in froggy and charging my Mutalith. And yeah, the rest of the army slowly moves up to see what the deal is with the Savage Orcs because there's still a Fanatic in the way. There's my Demon Prince. Show yourselves! Sorry, I love that movie, so I'm gonna every once in a while reference it. But yeah, the whole purpose of this was not, for points or to win the game or anything like that. I needed my Demon Prince to do as many wounds to these little bastards as he could so that I could get my wounds back with Soul Feeder. That was the purpose of this charge. Right here, the Chimera slamming into the Boroboys. This was for a game-winning thing. I figured with 7 to 9 strength 6 hits and a 4-up, 4-up, I could not only weather any of his attacks, but I could put down some serious hurt on these guys, break them, and run them the F down. And that was what the plan was here. I wanted to destroy that unit. Right here, there's a picture of another stupid Marauder Horseman running his head into a tree and getting exploded. So yeah, I'm down to 3 Marauder Horsemen now. So we go into magic, and the Mutalith gets a spell off on the on the unit of goblins over here next to the trolls, and he ends up losing like 2 to the toughness checks, 1 or 2, not many. But I end up it's the transformation one where I up a stat and lower a stat, and I end up making them strength 4, ballistic skill 1 or 2 or something like that. So yeah, they don't have any archery or anything like that. But the funny part about this, and of course you weren't there, so you don't know this, is while I'm about to roll what the stat is, I'm like, all right, this is a stat that goes up by 1, and he goes, make it strength, make it strength. So I roll the dice, and it's strength. So I was like, hey, you're welcome. So I was like, all right, here's a stat that goes down by 1 for the rest of the game. And he goes, oh, make it ballistic skill. So I rolled it, and it was ballistic skills. So I kind of wish he had asked for money. I would have been curious to see what would have came out of the dice. But yeah. So my friends are psychic, and I thought you should know that. My Demon Prince really doesn't have anything to cast, so I throw a Hail Mary and I do Final Transmutation on his Doom Diver. I know I need a 6 in order for it to work. I know it's unlikely. I know it's, 1 in a million, but I figured I've got nothing else to cast, might as well. And can you friggin' believe it? I rolled an Ever-Loving 6 and turned the Doom Diver catapult into a solid gold war machine of doom. And yeah, there's the die. None of us could believe it just happened. We were all shocked. But I was happy about it. He wasn't, but understandably, but I was happy about it. Over here, my Marauders throw their axes at the chariot and actually do a wound. I was shocked. But yeah, they were able to do a wound to him. In combat, my Chimera kills 2 or 3 of the Boroboys. He takes no wounds in return. With charge, and I think it was 3 wounds or whatever, they're steadfast and they stick it out. But that's fine. I'm winning this combat, and that's all that I care about. Over here, the Demon Prince, knowing the plan intimately, kills off a ton of the goblins and heals his wounds. So he's back up to full fighting strength, and now I'm just trying to get rid of all these goblins so I can get back into the fight. So we go to bottom of 2 after movement, and as you can see, everybody comes running up to come and deal with me. I think something charged my the Warhounds, and I fled with them. If I remember correctly, I was just worried about overruns and stuff like that, being out of range. I couldn't charge them. I didn't want the Mutalith to get hit, stuff like that. But yeah, there was a lot of moving up, the dogs fleeing, looked like maybe from the trolls, and other than that, not a whole lot going on. We move his, he moves his fanatics, and one literally bounces right through my marauders and kills them. Misses the chariot completely and kills the marauders. Those laser guided fanatics are starting to get irritating. No, it was cool. It happens. Magic is a wash, so we go into shooting, and that's a solid gold statue now. So we go into combat, and the Mutalith kills all but 3 of the Boar Boys. They do nothing back. They break. The Chimera runs them down, and it's the glory. Over here, the Demon Prince kills off a bunch of goblins and actually wounds himself once. So that was some poop, but I don't Soul Feeder it back yet, but I figure I got another round. I've got a chance to do it. So we go over to top of 3. And yeah, all bets are off. I charge. Both chariots and the warriors and the BSB charge the Savage Orcs. The BSB fails this charge, but the chariots and the warriors all make it. The Mutalith charges the goblins because he's a little embarrassed that he made him strength 4. And the Chimera swings around because now that his combat's over, he doesn't have to worry about, the Boar Boys anymore, so he runs over to go and see where he needs to go, whether it's the Trolls, the Savage Orcs, the Goblins, wherever. Meanwhile, the Hellstriders and Ashkis run over to the flank of the Goblins because I don't want my Demon Prince tar pitted there for the rest of the game. So there's a better picture of the carnage that's about to happen there. Here's the Mutalith looking for redemption. And during the magic phase, Ashikis gets Cacophonic Choir off on the Savage Orcs. And I was just trying to do some extra wounds, just trying to have some fun with it. And if I did end up losing this combat, it would be a lot harder for him to pursue me with D6-inch charge range. So I was hoping that, hey, you know what, I've got all my bases covered. Just in case I flub or the Savage Orcs do way more than I expect them to. Because as you've seen, if you've watched any of my battle reports, what I expect to happen and what actually happens is rarely the same thing. So he actually irresistible forces this one through, and if I remember correctly, earlier in the game he took a wound from something. Yeah, Ashes took a wound from something earlier in the game. He irresistible forces this one through, and he takes he does the strength 6. He rolls a 5 or a 6 on the miscast chart, and it's a small template. My opponent rolls the dice. I'm lucky, and he doesn't kill. He only kills one of my Hellstriders, just one of my Hellstriders. But the resulting Strength 10 hit on Ashigis finishes him off, and he dies. So he sings his final ballad to the Savage Orcs. They don't approve, and Tzeentch squashes his ass. So it's unfortunate, but that's one of the hazards of being a character in my army. You will get killed, probably by your own devices. So yeah, we go into combat, and I kill like 10 or 11 of his orcs. I think I end up doing like 11 wounds. There's a challenge. I kill like 9 of his savage orcs. I do some damage to one of his characters in the challenge. I think maybe he gave me the unit champion or something like that. I think I kill off his that's what it is. I kill off his Savage Orc Great Shaman, so he loses the Lucky Shrunken Head. Just crazy amounts of damage, but he ends up being steadfast and sticking it out, or passes it. No, he loses combat, loses frenzy, but he doesn't lose by enough to break because he's got the Crown of Command in here somewhere. So they're stubborn and they stick. Over here, the Mutalist just starts munching away on goblins, doing the best he can to fix his mistakes. And although he wins combat, they're steadfast, so it doesn't matter. So we go to bottom of 3 after movement, and as you can see, the trolls are stuck. They wanted to charge, but they couldn't get around the goblins. The rest of his army is dead or out of position, and his goblin chariot charges into the flank of my Mutolith. Makes his dangerous terrain check in the forest, no problem. Yeah, there's a picture of the pucker factor right there. I'm like, ah, nuts. I don't know what I'm gonna do against that. Yeah, I'm hoping that he flubs his rolls or something, but what can you do? During his magic phase, he's able to get sneaky stabbing off on his savage orcs, so now they're armor piercing. They're only strength 4 now because they're biggins, but it's still -2, and that's gonna be rough because now most of my stuff is only gonna have a 5-up armor. So a little worried about that. Over here in combat, the Demon Prince just destroys a ton of the goblins, heals his wound no problem, but they're still steadfast and they stick. And in combat over here, that crazy chariot charged, hit, and wounded my Mutolith 3 times with the impact hits. 3 wounds to the Mutolith. The goblins all attack, and they aren't able to hurt him anymore. He flubs his rolls. I roll like 3 attacks. I'm able to kill off the chariot, which was cool. But even my Thunderstomp, I think I like Thunderstomped 1, and I wounded once. I lose combat by 2, and I break, and they run me down. So the Mutolith dies, failing to achieve his goal of fixing his adding +1 strength to the goblins. And that no, actually, now that I think about it, let me check something. No, the goblins I think actually just straight up killed the Mutolith with the strength 4 because they needed 5's wound. And so yeah, the Mutolith just dies. I think it just gets killed. I don't believe he overruns or has to pursue me or anything like that. Yeah, he just kills the Mutolith. So the Mutolith dies to his own mistake, and let that be a lesson to him, I guess. So yeah, sorry about that. I got my facts screwed up. Over here, in combat, it's just more of the same. We beat the ever-loving tar out of each other. He puts a wound on one of my chariots. He puts 4 of my warriors down for good. I do a bunch of wounds to him, and in the end, we stick it out. I don't remember who loses or I lose this combat, but all my stuff stays. That's right, I lose this combat. All my stuff stays, and we stick it out for another round of combat. So yeah, it's something else right there. Top of 4 after movement. As you can see, I'm starting to get nervous about that fight in the middle there. So the Chimera comes into the rear. The Hellstriders do charge the goblins in the flank. It's just physics wouldn't let me push them up any closer than they were. And the BSB runs over there to either go and deal with the goblins or the trolls, depending on who comes in there first. And I position my dogs, who rallied, to either go after the goblins' flank, because I think they have a chance there, or just hang tight and save 35 points. I really couldn't decide what I wanted to do here. So I put him there just to figure something out. There's the Hellstriders into the goblins. And there's the Chimera into the Savage Orcs, because at this point I'm realizing, oh crap, I need all the help I can get. Magic is a wash, so we go straight into combat, and yeah, my Demon Prince and the Hellstriders are able to finish off the remainder of the goblins no problem, and while the Hellstriders run them down, because I think one or two were still alive and fled, the Hellstriders run them down, and the Demon Prince just restrains and turns to face the Savage Orc combat just in case he's needed next turn. But he's not. Yeah, I don't flub my rolls this time. I lose a few more warriors. My chariots take some more wounds. I don't think the Chimera takes any wounds, and if he does, obviously not enough to kill him. But after decimating that unit, they break, they get run down because everybody pursues. And as you can see, the warriors roll boxcars, so there was no getting away. My opponent removes the removes his unit from the table, and everything overruns. And after that unit gets broken, there's no real leadership left for the trolls, who take a panic check and flee. And I'll let you know right now, they never rally and they flee off the table. So here's bottom of 4 after movement. And this is actually kind of significant because at this point my opponent is like, well, it was a good game, but I'm not going to quit. So he takes his goblins and he charges them into the flank of my warriors. And what's funny about that is that I was going to flee. I was going to flee with the warriors because there was no reason for me to take that charge. And with him charging in the side, I've got 6 attacks, hitting with 3 or 4 of them, wounding with 2 or 3 of them. He's got a 6-up parry. He might stop one. There's no way I'm going to win this combat because even if nobody wounds anybody, he's got 3 ranks charge, flank, banner to my banner. And so he was going to win this combat by a ton. Well, there's a decent sized group around the table. We all know each other. We all give each other a hard time. And everyone's like, "You're not going to flee from goblins, are you? Zinch would never forgive you if you fled from goblins." And it actually got to me. I was like, "Oh, well, no, of course he wouldn't." So I stayed. I got peer pressured into accepting a charge. So the goblins charge into the flank of the warriors and make it no problem. And yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. It was funny, but it is what it is. So yeah, there's a better picture of my peer pressure stance. I don't know what I was thinking about. And that's exactly what happens. We get into combat, and he wins by, he's got 3 ranks, banner, charge, flank. I've got a banner. He wins by 5. My Demon Prince is within 12. I need a 4 to stay, and my BSB is too far away to get to reroll. And right there, blind stupid luck saves me yet again because I rolled the 4 that I needed. And the warriors, not only do they stay, but then I roll another 4 to turn and face. So now the warriors have turned to face the goblins. Oh man, my opponent was, if he burns down an orphanage, he might just have the right to do it. I'm not really sure what the law states on that. So yeah, and now of course, yeah. So I play, the no surrender army. So the BSB charges in there just to really push the whole fight over into my favor. And yeah, there's no, I don't do magic or shooting. There's a picture of a better picture of the warriors and the BSB and with the goblins. But I skip magic. We go straight. There's no shooting, so we go straight into combat, and I kill like 50, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 goblins. I don't know. I don't lose anything. I don't take any wounds in return. I roll a 6 and a 9, I think, to pursue him when he breaks. They don't get away, and there it is. End the top of turn 5. He's tabled. Has a lot to do with luck. I got some really lucky dice rolling. Both my chariots and my warriors stayed against the savage orcs when I lost by 4. The warriors staying by needing a 3 to stay or something like that, and they stay. A lot of insanity, but 3 or 4 to stay, whatever it was. A lot of crazy dice rolls that helped me win this game, to be certain. And yeah, I'd rather be lucky than good any day, and I think I've got that that perfected pretty well there. So yeah, already quick time. Banners. Get you some banners. Look at the banners. You need to get those banners. Send this guy an email. Go to his Facebook page. One or the other, or do both. I don't care. Go and get yourself a banner. There's no reason not to. You spend plenty of money doing this game. You can spend a fraction of what you would for new models to get a new banner that will last the entirety of your army's lifetime. And they're good quality. They get to you in great piece. They look fantastic on the table. And I'm not lying to you. You look at all my battle reports. The banners are there. It's not like I'm making this up. Go and get them. There's no reason not to. Just phenomenal banners, and it makes your army look just that much better. So yeah, in the end, it was a definite solid victory for Lord Tremendous. I ended up losing Ashicus, my Marauder Horseman, and the Beast. Sigh. Yeah, my Orc and Goblin opponent lost everything. But yeah, for the most part, everything went my way in this game. Just everything. My dice were on fire. When I needed to roll high, they rolled high. When I needed to roll low, they rolled low. I am so glad I installed those magnets in those tables. So that, no. I'm kidding. I'm just lucky. I play lucky. I make my lists cater to my luck, and if I'm rolling, above average or better, then I do really well. And if I roll like crap, then I do really bad. It really doesn't have anything to do with skill. It has a lot to do with luck. And that's just the way I enjoy playing. So, yeah, I can't even really take credit. I thank fate or karma or a combination of the two. That final transmutation on the Doom Diver is a beautiful example of that. Needing, just one target, one dice, needed a 6, rolled the damn 6. Getting rid of the Doom Diver. I mean, if you needed any other proof that I was a lucky individual, that would be it. Rather be lucky than good any day. But I always enjoy playing this opponent. He's a real good guy. He's a real good opponent. It's always cool seeing the old army every once in a while. Fun game, and I'm looking forward to a rematch as soon as you can stomach to be around me again, buddy. But yeah, guys, that'll do it for this battle report. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it and playing it. If you got anything to say, throw in the comments section. Doesn't matter what it is. I'll pretty much reply to anything. And yeah, thanks.